Well, hello, and welcome to another lesson of the Focus on Storyblok course. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. As always, there's my email address. Get a hold of me, Marcelo at headlesscreator.com. Feel free to send me questions, comments, ideas, feedback, whatever you like. I'll get back to you as soon as possible, usually within 24 hours. Today, we're going to be talking about content governance and specifically how do you implement part of that governance in Storyblok using pre-built workflows. And we're going to talk about releases. And when I say we, I actually mean Siavash Moazami Vahid, which he's back here for the fourth time. He's a content marketer at Storyblok, and he's going to show us how to do all that. We're also going to touch upon a little bit, what do we mean by content governance? But as you know, as always, before we get started, let's get you to sign up at headlesscreator.com. I want you over there. Why do I want you over there? Well, basically because you can get a lot of free content, not just this on-demand lesson, but you're going to get the entire course. It's 100% free with tons of lessons. And then once you do that, of course, you'll have access to a bunch of other courses, including my passion, Content Modeling Weekly, which I love content modeling. You'll have access to, right now I'm up to 40 lessons there, and it keeps adding every week. A lot of other Headless CMS courses and the Discover Headless Tech course, which of course will allow you to discover new headless technologies, and I have interviews in there, lots of stuff. So go ahead and sign up. I'm trying to reach 1,000 registered users by the end of the year. I'm totally on track with that. I think this morning I hit 850 registered users, so I'm only 150 away, and I know you're going to help me do that. But anyway, all right, so that's it for marketing. You know how this goes. I'm going to go ahead and restart the intro. The on-demand version will have absolutely no marketing, and we'll jump right in with Siavash and get started in all of this. So I will see you in just 10 seconds. Well, hello, and welcome to another lesson of the Focus on Storyblok course. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. As always, get a hold of me right there, Marcelo at headlesscreator.com. Send me questions, comments, feedback, whatever you like, no problem. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Today, we have Siavash Moazami Vahid back for the fourth time. He's going to be presenting. The topic today is going to be about content governance, and specifically, because that's a pretty big topic, but specifically, how do you implement workflows and use releases in Storyblok? So prior to doing that, you know what I like to do. I love to have a quick conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and add Siavash here. Welcome.
Hi, hello everyone. Hi, Marcelo.
Welcome back. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Thank you. Good, doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's the weekend, so Friday. For those of you watching live, and for watching on demand, hopefully you're having a good day as well. So everything's good. So hey, people know you already. I mean, the prior three we talked so much about you already, but let's talk a little bit about content governance and specifically workflows. What do we mean by workflows? What do you exactly mean by that?
Yeah, I guess, it makes sense to talk about it because usually people have their own definitions of it. And not only that, but like different systems have their own definitions of it, right? So I would say like even last week, we were kind of talking about content governance in general because we touched upon versioning, versions, and releases. So today specifically, I'm going to talk more about workflows in the sense of each content entry, right? So that's what we call like content workflows or workflow stages in Storyblok. So basically workflows that are tied to individual content entries or stories. But then also in a more macro level, we're going to look at pipeline stages, which I mean, you can also see them as workflow stages, although that's not what we call them in Storyblok, but they are technically stages of a workflow, right? Which are bound then to each of your content repositories instead of individual content entries.
Got it. And I know you have some diagrams to show, which we're gonna jump into your presentation real quick. I want to expand a little bit on content governance, which is really important, right? And for those of you not really familiar with governance, it's basically the rules you implement for your content, right? So there may be style guides. There is also who can publish what. what are the stages of going from draft, going from maybe development to staging to production, right? Today, those are the workflows we're touching upon. Also, which users have access to what content, putting users in roles, right? All of that is content governance. Content governance is really important because that's how you can really control single source of truth. If you have 20 people updating the same thing, I mean, they may be creating duplicates. That's why this is really, really an important topic. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yes. And I think specifically because there's so many different sides to it, that it's really important for whichever system that you choose to work with, that it offers you multiple ways to kind of restrict each aspect individually, right? So for example, when we talk about Storyblok in this case specifically, you absolutely don't have to use all these capabilities that we talk about, right? Like releases, versions, workflow stages, or pipelines. But each of them kind of gives you a tool to apply these restrictions or these pipelines or these workflows to one specific aspect of it, right? So for example, you mentioned like sometimes it's about roles and users specifically, like people working with stuff, but sometimes it's about the content itself, right? So sometimes it's about something very small, so the content entry, or sometimes it's about everything all together in a single release. So I think the most important thing is to know what tools you have in your hands to kind of manipulate all of these things individually, and then based on your situation, choose what you actually need and what you actually have to do.
Right, definitely. Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show your screen here, and
Sure.
I'll let you get started. If anybody has any questions, like always, put them in the chat. I will ask Shivash, I'm sure I'll jump in with some questions, but for now, it's all yours.
Yeah, please feel free to do so. All right, yeah, let's jump right in. Hello again, everyone. Yes, so I guess you already know what we're going to talk about this week. Like always, I'm going to work with the demo space. So if you want, you can also follow along. Everyone has access to our demo space. So feel free to go create one. You can use it and you can follow along everything that I'm going to do today. So let's just jump right in. And let's start by talking about workflows, specifically workflow stages. So in Storyblok, we have two main different kind of workflows. One are the basic workflows, and the other are the custom workflows. And basic workflows are available to everyone, regardless of your plan. They're included in the free plan and everything, but they're more restrictive. You have less options to work with, and they're predefined and preset. So you have to use, whatever you have. And with custom workflows, which is available to like higher plans, like premium and enterprise, there you have the ability to customize your workflows, your workflow stages, add things, take things out, and just play around with every option. So let's start with the basic one, the one that everyone can access and work with. And for that, again, go to your space, your content folder. And as I mentioned in the intro, in conversation with Marcelo, with Storyblok, when we talk about workflow stages, specifically, we're talking about workflow in the sense of each content entry, which, if you remember, we called stories in Storyblok, right? So in the demo space, you already have like two stories here, specifically this one, the homepage, that's a content entry and a story. So let's open this one up, and then let's look at workflow stages. So no matter if you're using the visual editor or a form editor, this menu always stays the same up there on the right side. And the second tab says status. And if you click on that, you can have access to the workflows, to the basic workflows. So what do we have here? You have like a very quick overview of everything. I would also encourage you to click there usually, because you get just a little bit more data that is always useful. And as you can see, the latest workflow change or changes here, it's just none. And also here, workflow stage, none. Because whenever you create a new story, automatically by default, it's set to be undefined, just workflow wise. Okay, so when you want to create it, you have to first come here and click on change. And then you have access to the basic workflows that I mentioned here. So technically, you have 3 workflow stages that you can choose from. And I also like to think there's also the 0 work stage. So you kind of have 4, the 0 one being your undefined stage, right? Which is the default one. And as soon as you choose one of the workflows, then you have to stick with it, right? And move through the pipeline. So let's start the drafting one. As you can already see, as soon as you select it, a new option of a new field opens up down there, which you can add a comment, right? So I'm going to show you what's the point in a minute. Let's just